Each year, Robin Lake gathers the greatest water skiers together in the world. The reason is simple. They are the Masters. There are thousands of people lining the shorelines here of Robin Lake at Callaway Gardens in Pine Mountain, Georgia. It must be time for the Masters. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again. This is the 35th Masters. I'm Dan Debenham, along with Wayne Grimdich, who has won here in years gone by and announced from here many times. And so, Wayne, I pose this question to you. This is not like a regular tour event for the skiers, is it? This is the most prestigious event in the world for the world's best water skiers.
It is clearly different. You have 35 years of all the world's best skiers here. The knowledge of those performances adds lots of pressures to the skiers, and in my mind, this is the most significant title to win in the sport.
Now remember, they compete in all three disciplines here at the Masters: tricks, slalom, and jump. And maybe the man that has the most pressure bearing down upon him at this point is Jaret Llewellyn.
And he bears up pretty well under the pressure. He's trying to win 3 in a row. Only one other man has done that, Mike Hazelwood. Bear in mind, a 3-eventer has to spend an immense amount of time on the water practicing. That's very tough. He's an excellent skier.
Let's turn our attention to the women then. And when you talk about women at the Masters, it seems that that is synonymous with Deena Mapple.
She is an extraordinary talent, has an extraordinary career. Unfortunately, she's not jumping because of injury. Part of her life is kind of gone here at the Masters, so it'll be fascinating to watch her on and off the water, see how she feels and deals with it.
So the storyline is set here at Callaway Gardens. One skier looking to continue his tradition. Another one, the tradition for the overall title is over. And so we begin our look at the 35th Masters from Callaway Gardens.
And here is Deena Mapple preparing herself for the first event of the day, the women's trick skiing.
Women's tricks is broken down into 2 passes. One is with the hand, the other is with the foot or toe pass. This is Sherri Slone with the hand pass.
Trick skiing is like gymnastics across the water. You're doing tricks on the surface and also tricks off the wake. Here performing anywhere from 180 degrees up to 720 degree revolutions. Judges are looking for that. She slips off on her last trick. You can hear the horn. That marks the 20 seconds.
And you can see Deena Mapple thinking about this competition. Deena, of course, out of that overall competition for the first time. And Deena is synonymous with the Masters. And so what is she thinking as she looks at a Sherri Slone? What do you think's going through her mind, Wayne?
Well, I don't think she's thinking of the fact that she can't ski because of her injury to her neck. She's just concentrating on what she needs to do on the trick course. And right here, Sherri Slone finishes. She stands up, but a little bit of a sloppy routine. Remember, the judges are looking for clearance on the wake tricks and continuous motion on the surface tricks.
Deena Mapple began her day waving the American flag. And what emotions must have been running through her. The crowd acknowledging the anthem as much as Deena Mapple, I believe, there. And now Deena Mapple, originally from Sacramento, California, now living in Orlando with her husband, of course, the world slalom champion, Andy Mapple. Deena Mapple attacks this course, and look at the determination on her face right now.
You notice the skiers looking down to the water. They're looking at the crest of the wake, knowing when to spring up into the air, get enough clearance there, and perhaps she pre-jumped that trick just a touch.
Deena Mapple is certainly the past and the present of this Masters. That was a look at Rhoni Barton, who some say is the future. Rhoni looking out on the water and looking out on Deena Mapple. Deena is a hero of Rhoni Barton's. Boy, not a bad prototype to try to pattern your water skiing after.
And Rhoni's done a good job in patterning herself after Deena from the respect that she has tremendous technique and focus out on the water. Deena standing up, moving her way down course, and it's a stand-up run, not one of her best, but she's going to be pretty satisfied with that today.
And here comes Rhoni Barton once again. This is the favorite now that Deena is out of the overall competition to win the overall. Here's an earlier look at Rhoni. Keep in mind that the Junior Masters competed earlier before the Masters. Rhoni, of course, a past junior champion here, and she giving her support to the younger skiers. She herself, keep in mind, is just a senior in high school and already the favorite to win the overall title. That in itself is quite a statement.
And she just lands a brilliant ski line back-to-back and another ski line maneuver. That's where the skier takes their whole body up over the rope. Very difficult to do.
And there will be somebody that is difficult to beat. That is Britt Larsen with her coach, Aymeric Benet.
Now we're going to see a mixture of toe surface turns and toe wake turns. From 720 degrees, that was her first trick, all the way down to a toe side. Side will be her last trick, trying to do about 15 tricks in this run. Judges are looking for continuous spins in the water, 360s wrapping in and out. Now a toe wake 360, toe back to the back position. Very steady, looking good. Happy with that, I'm sure.
I'm a little disappointed. I was a little sloppy. But, you know, I stood up, and I guess that was the goal. I just didn't want to be so sloppy.
This has been an emotional morning, though, for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I'm trying not to think about that. I'm trying to just ski and go out and do the best that I can do. That's what I've done in past Masters. That's what I want to go out and do today.
It is the Masters, and after all these years, after all the titles, after all the championships, does it continue to give you butterflies?
Oh, yeah. I think if it doesn't, then you wouldn't be here. You know, you wouldn't. I still want to win. I might not be an overall, but I want to go out and do my best and want to come home with the money.
So while Rhoni Barton is happy, Deena Mapple expresses her disappointment in her run. Britt Larsen now on the water. This is the defending Masters champion.
And also the 1993 world champion. 93 was a banner year for this young lady. Her sister Tawn had dominated this event for 3 years in a row, and Britt, stumbling there a little bit, has really started with a fine, consistent, and controlled first run. Getting up on the dock is more difficult than the tricks. Boy, steady, consistent, very beautiful.
Thank you very much. Felt really good out there.
How much of a difference do you feel skiing at Robin Lake at the Masters this year than you did your first year?
Well, last year I was a little more overwhelmed. I think the people, the pavilion, the spectacular part of the whole thing kind of got caught up in it. And this year I came and I said, I've been here before. I know where I am. You know, I can do it.
You're a very quick learner. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Some of the junior water skiers hugging Rhoni Barton. Of course, as Rhoni looks up to Deena Mapple, the juniors already look up to Rhoni. And when it comes to trick skiing, everybody looks up to the Larsens, Britt and Tawn, and this is Britt.
And that's because of their consistency and precision. Now, where she's moving down course into a 540-degree turn, we're going to see a 720 coming up here, 2 full revolutions, gets it close to sliding, and then the big flip. She nails it before the clock goes off. That's a strong run, and the judges do award her the 720, over 7,000 points.
And here is a look at that flip. Boy, that is not only a high-scoring maneuver, but it is a crowd pleaser to boot.
Come on over here, champ. It
Almost.
Well, we have to wait. We have to wait and see. But how'd you feel out there?
It felt great. It felt the best that it's ever felt out there. I mean, this is the most nerve-wracking tournament in the world to me. More than the world, more than anything. And this, I don't know if it's because it's behind a different boat. It's that they have their own song. All the people, the pavilion, everything. And maybe after 9 years, I'm finally starting to forget about what's in here and think about what's out there.
Here is Tawn Larsen going head-to-head against her sister. Tawn knows the score that she needs to beat Britt.
Well, it was a very close battle last year. We had them both down on the dock waiting for the score. Britt ended up the victor. Tawn had won 3 years in a row up to that point. She has just been uncanny with her precision. Standing up on the first pass, it's a good start.
That is Patrice Martin as he prepares for the men's tricking competition. Patrice is really making a run for the overall title. More on that in just a bit, but here is Tawn Larsen.
The keys to this run are to complete her 540, 1.5 degree turns. There's one. Does another one to the back position. She has a 720 scheduled to do that, as well as the flip. 2 very high scoring tricks. She leaves out the 720 and throws in the trick. Is it enough? We'll have to wait and see. what the judges say.
There it is, 64-20 for Tawn, and so Britt Larsen is the winner.
They must have hit you hard on the second pass.
Yeah, well, I didn't get my 7 in, and my flip was a bit questionable, so whether I got it in.
Well, young lady, you defended your championship 2 in a row.
Thanks, it felt great.
Always a treat for all of us.
Me too. Thanks.
That's the story for the women's tricks. This could be the story for the men. Patrice Martin when we come back. So the women are through with their tricking competition, and the men now take to the water, and so we focus our attention on the overall race because it comes down to this tricks competition between Jaret Llewellyn and Patrice Martin. They are 1 and 2 going into the overall competition. Whoever scores best here wins.
Well, and a lot of people are betting on Patrice Martin because he's been world trick champion. He only scored 5,800 yesterday, falling on the 3rd trick second pass. The bottom line, Patrice Martin has got to stand up. That puts a heck of a lot of pressure on Jaret Llewellyn down the line, who then will have to stay. Whatever Patrice scores, Jaret will have to score probably 300 points more.
Wow, that is a lot when you talk about a world champion like Patrice Martin. And so the race for the overall Masters Championship is on, and Patrice Martin is on the water.
This Frenchman dances across the water. He is clean, quick, and agile. Originally a trick specialist, he now takes command in all 3 events, having won 3 world overall titles in a row. He is excellent whether he's on the trick course, slalom course, or jump course. Look at his patience here and his control, just waiting for that rope to tighten up, and spins himself off the wake. A wonderful toe step 540 at the end of that pass. He falls, but it's after the run, and that sets him up well for the second pass.
And Jaret Llewellyn knows what he must do at this point. Ooh, the pressure is building up on that young Canadian, but we have a Frenchman out on the water. Notice the French flag tied to his rope, dancing across the water just as he does.
Effortlessly, just throwing himself off the wake and over the rope. There's the big flip. Now some more body overs. Watch in the middle of the rotation. He steps over the rope, does it with ease. The first guy ever to do these ski line maneuvers, and he is happy, and his father is ecstatic, and I think that's going to be enough, or at least very tough now for Jaret Llewellyn.
Here comes Patrice Martin, giving himself a good hand, and a well-deserved one. Let's go ahead and go down to the dock with he and Wayne.
You stood up.
Yeah, yesterday.
It was fantastic. I'm guessing you have to stay within 300 points or so of Jaret or thereabouts. I know you've got it calculated perfectly in your head.
Jaret has to beat me in tricks by more than 300 points, and I think it's going tough for him.
Well, yesterday, a real surprise fall in the 720. What were you thinking today to get by all that?
In fact, my problem was yesterday. I knew I had to trick more than 5.9 to be in the final, and you were always thinking at that trick that you need in to be in the final. And I was there thinking I have to do the first 7, and I didn't think of the second one, so I failed.
How does it feel today now that the pressure is sort of off you and on to somebody else, specifically Jaret?
It feels much better. But I mean, yesterday after first round, I went to practice a lot this morning. I woke up at 6 and I went to practice again. I was thinking, I do it every time in practice. I have to do it in tournament. Just don't think go and ski.
I noticed you left out the 720 at the beginning of the second pass. I was thinking, I know you love winning tricks. I mean, that was your specialty. You're a fantastic overall skier, of course, now with 3 world consecutive titles. Was there any thought of being more aggressive and trying to get the trick title, or just go for the overall?
I remember 2 years ago I was chasing tricks and overall, and I lose both. And this time I said, okay, first thing you have to do is go for overall. It's easier. Right now it was easier for me to go for overall. And then if I go to the end of my run, for the trickers it won't be easy anyway.
Fantastic job.
Thanks.
Well, Jaret Llewellyn will have to wait his turn to get on the water. You can see the confidence that Patrice Martin feels that he skied with. Cory Pickos, of course, is the defending champion here at the Masters in men's tricks. He, of course, is one of the best in the world when he puts one ski on and 1 foot in that rope. And here he is now dancing across the waters of Robin Lake. And there is a nice shot of Jaret Llewellyn knowing what he must do to continue to battle for the overall title here at the Masters. Cory Pickos, this is his second and final pass.
Bear in mind, this is a trick specialist, Cory Pickos, the veteran, 29 years of age, quick as a cat. He's won 2 world titles, is the world record holder there, so he is going for the win here. He's not worried about overall. He wants the trick title, stumbles up there a little bit. We're going to see a flip with a half twist right there, nails it, needs to come back here with another body over 5, and he misses it, which he dearly wanted.
And there's a good look at Aymeric Benet, the coach of Jaret Llewellyn. Jaret, of course, still in the hunt for the overall. You have so many eyes upon you. You are known for years to be the best. You want to prove it once again. How do you feel about your performance?
I feel real good about it. I gave it all my heart and soul. I went out there and I went after it. I skied hard both passes. Had a little bit of problem. I was on pace, but I was going to run over 11 because I know all the guys behind me are also skiing good. So I was going to win, and for me, I've won the Masters 7 times already. Second place, isn't going to do much for me. I went out there to win, and if I don't, I gave it my best shot.
Is the Masters, after all these years, after all these titles, still something that makes your heart flutter, if you will?
Sure. I think all the competitors, even as they drive up Thursday night, the night before practice, they know they're here.
And we know you are here. Good luck.
Thanks.
Cory Pickos, 7-time winner, wants the 8th today. He's not concerned about the overall, but this man right here is Jaret Llewellyn. Although his chances are slim now after that brilliant run by Patrice Martin, he still knows he does have that one chance at the overall title.
And that one chance is just about ready to slip away if he can't stand up, and he doesn't. Aymeric Benet releases the rope from the boat so he doesn't get injured, and unless he has a brilliant record-setting run here with body overs and flips, Patrice Martin will be the overall champion. Moving down course now, Jaret Llewellyn trying to throw everything at the gun right here.
Oh, and he knows his chances are really slim, but you can see how hard he works at that and how he is throwing everything into it, including back-to-back-to-back flips.
3 sensational flips to finish a brilliant run. 52.90 on the second pass. If he hadn't have fallen earlier on the first run, it could have been there.
Well, there are so few skiers out there now, Wayne, that are true 3-event skiers, and truly Jaret Llewellyn is one of those. He works so hard at being good in jump, slalom, and tricking, and he is sorely disappointed at this point.
Now, while the overall race is already finished, the trick title is still up for grabs, and right now the 93 World Championship is giving it quite a go.
Is it enough?
No way. Me and Patrice, we bust our butt to get out there and train as hard as we do, and I'm sick about it. I hate losing, just like anybody else. I'm a competitor, and coming in here, I really like to do a 3 in a row, but those are the breaks.
Those are the breaks, and that is the sport, but at 23 years of age, Jaret Llewellyn will have plenty of opportunities in the future.
And for Tory Baggiano, he continues to eye the trick title, and he has set himself up rather well after the first run, Wayne.
Well, he is adding to his first run at 54.50 brilliantly, just performing 720-degree turns, body overs, you name it. He has refined his technique. A guy who used to flail across the water is now patient and precise.
And there you see the score, 10,590 points. That vaults him into the lead, and that means that this man, Aymeric Benet, is the only one left who can unseat Tory Baggiano. Tory Baggiano may be on his way to his 2nd Masters trick title.
Aymeric needs all of this run. He was 200 points behind Tory after the first pass. He needs all 3 flips. That's the second one. Here's the third one and the final 540. Can he do it? And he falls. That's not enough.
The results are in, and Tory Baggiano picks up first place with a whopping 10,590 points, and what a way to start the 35th Masters. By the way, here is our champion right here.
Right.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank
Top 4 skiers all over 10,000. I think that might be a first here.
It is a first by far. Usually it doesn't take but about 10,000 to win here, but I won back in '90, and I've been wanting that. Once they started, they weren't giving out Masters rings, and they started last year, so I needed to get in there and get a ring at least. But
being your 2nd Masters championship, how terrific does that feel?
it's about as good as it gets. I won the World Championships last fall, and that was the first big title since '90 I had, and I wanted to try to get all 3 at once, the World's Masters, and now I'm going to go for the U.S. Open, and so that would make it a good sweep.
Yeah, you are the skier to be right now in the tricking competition. Our congratulations to you. Now, Tory, you know what's coming up here on the 35th Masters? Wakeboarding. It's exciting, it's new, and I know you're going to stick around and watch it, right?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm glad they get to ski here at the Masters, and I think there's plenty of room for a 4th event. and the guys are unbelievable. What they do on the boards is I can't even figure out. So I'm sure they feel the same way about us in tricks too. But there's room for another event, especially as good as these guys do it.
And it is coming up on the 35th Masters. We bid farewell to this man for just a moment. Do you know Tony Finn?
No, I'm well, and I know he commentates about as good as they get in wakeboarding.
And he's coming up.
You're saying I don't know wakeboarding?
I'm saying Tony Finn's coming up. Wayne Grimnich is out. We'll be back with more of the 35th Masters right after this. Welcome back to the 35th Masters here at Callaway Gardens in Pine Mountain, Georgia. And with me now is Tony Finn. No, we have not given up on Wayne Grimnich. Tony joins me for a very special reason. For the first time in the 35-year history of the Masters, we have a new event. It is wakeboarding. Tony Finn, you were the innovator of this sport many years ago. Could you have ever dreamed that it would be included now in the most prestigious tournament of the world?
Absolutely. I dreamed about this when I first started Scurfer in my garage in 1986. I thought if wakeboarding could ever be included in the Masters, it would be incredible. We're creating a new tradition here, and the riders are going huge. When you see this, you will not believe it.
It is exciting, and so now we join the best wakeboarders as they join the best water skiers in the world here at Robin Lake. If you have never seen this sport, look out. It can become addictive, and this is Jeff Heer, and for you, I'm telling you, Tony Finn, you must be excited to know this sport, these athletes have made it.
Absolutely. Wakeboarding has only been around a short while, especially compared to water skiing. But let me tell you what wakeboarding's all about. Wakeboarding's all about busting big air, holding on, using that wake, and just going off.
Yeah, the point is to hit the wake as hard and as high as you can. And let me tell you, the tricks that these guys do are just scary. Or as you like to say, they go O-F-F.
And here's the king of going off right here, Darin the Scot Shapiro. He's the #1 rated rider in the world, and you can see why. He goes as big as anybody. He's compact to the water, he's strong, and he's super focused and very, very consistent.
Yeah, Tony, you like to call this guy a mini Arnold Schwarzenegger, and like Arnold, he always seems to come back.
That's right. Yesterday he did fall, but right now he looks as smooth as ever, just taking huge advantage of that big sport nautique wake, and he went huge on that first pass.
Good look at the different boards that you can ski on out there, and I think that the competitors themselves here, Tony, realize the magnitude of this event. They realize that they are at the most prestigious tournament in the world.
Oh, the nerves of everybody were very, very sketchy right before they went out, but it looks like Darin Shapiro is not letting the nerves affect him. That's a gigantic roll to revert right there, and he is so strong. He just stops the boat, and look at that tail grab. He landed that tail grab way, way, way out in the flats, carving hard back into the wake for a railie. He's fallen. He's down on the air railie, but oh my.
Dean Lavelle on the dock saying, I gotta follow that. Ouch, babe. Here comes Jeremy Kovak. Now, he's a much taller, leaner version of the Scud, although he trains with Darin Shapiro.
That's right. Jeremy's a lot different style. He stands a lot more erect. He's a lot taller. He's a freestyle jumper and a long-distance jumper as well. And he's learning. Oh, he falls right there. Jeremy Kovak's got to be upset. You know, he came very, very close to the stands, and that might have affected him. He went so far outside the wake that he almost hit the stands. Here comes Dean Lavelle.
And this is a guy that you like to call a 10 event skier. He seems to do it all, and he's doing it all right now on the wakeboard.
Dean Lavelle, he barefoots, he trick skis, he slalom skis, he jumps. He does it all, but his favorite sport is wakeboarding. You can tell, look at how much fun these riders are having out there. And Dean has as much fun as anybody. Big front flip for Dean to close out his run.
Here's a look at our wakeboard cam. It's a board's eye view, if you will. So how does it feel to compete in your first Masters like this?
This is awesome. We're having a great time. Crowd's awesome. Everybody's stoked. Man, it's fun. The wake's fat. Nautique's put out a great wake. Having a good time.
Do you, the wakeboarders, realize what it's like and what it means to be here at Robin Lake?
At first I was like, oh, I'm going to the Masters, and then everybody started talking to me and they're like, that is such an honor, and I'm honored to be here. And I thank everyone who brought this, or made this happen. Thank Nautique and Overton and everybody at the Masters. This is great. Had a good time.
And we too enjoyed your performance, all right?
All right, thank you.
And here's a man who has no camera on his board, but all eyes and all cameras on him right now, Scot Byerly.
We call him the Hook, Scot the Hook Byerly. Look at his style. A lot of contrast between Jeremy Darin and the other guys. Scot Byerly's comes from a skateboard, a snowboard background, and you can really see how he uses that board. Look at that board in the fakie position, and lands fakie on that one, a fakie to fakie roll. Oh, and I'll tell you one thing, wakeboarding is definitely different.
All right, if you needed any other kind of evidence that wakeboarding's a little bit different from water skiing, check out the tattoo. Yeah.
Well, that certainly is different, but I don't think Scot Byerly has a tattoo, at least not one that I've seen, Dan.
At least not one that we know about, huh? Now,
That's
what do
right.
they call that? A butt bounce when their butt hits the water?
Yeah, that's called a butt check. Just kind of helps you land sometimes. That was an air crib for Byerly, and he is going big today. This is a big air pass. Ooh, that's not going to be enough for victory.
Which means that Darin Shapiro slips in as the #1 rider of the day.
This is by far the biggest adrenaline rush of any tournament ever skied in. So, oh yeah.
And you turned us on to the rush as well. Way to go, Scott.
Thanks, buddy.
That is wakeboarding, and this is the 35th Masters. Back with more from Callaway Gardens right after this. It is the Masters Tournament from Callaway Gardens in Pine Mountain, Georgia, and welcome back once again, everybody. Dan Debenham along with Wayne Grimdich as the 35th Masters continues, and now it's time for the women to hit the water, not in tricks this time, in slalom. The wind has picked up. I just got through talking with Andy Mapple. He says, ooh, it looks like it's going to be tricky.
It really is going to be tricky. This course is tricky when it's smooth. The water's moving out there, the wind is blowing. It will demand all the skiers' resources, their skill, their talent, and most of all, their strength.
All right, the 35th Masters rolls on, so let's get to the action. It's women's slalom.
And the first one out on the water will be Helena Kjellander, the defending Masters slalom champion, the current world champion. She is coming in at a very short line, 35 feet off, only 40 feet of rope, about 2.5 feet to get around the buoys. One is so important, and she gets over too far, perhaps carrying a little bit too much speed into the first buoy.
That's a good look at Deena Mapple, concentrating once again, realizing that her shot at the overall is now gone. Earlier, she sat down and talked with Wayne.
I think where it really got me and where I started really thinking the whole, when I walked into the hotel, and every year I go and I look at the cup with the names on it, and I saw that cup and I knew that's it. My name's not going to be on there next year, because usually that first thing I do is walk to that cup and, okay, will my name be on there next year or not? And I just looked at it and I was like, who's going to be next? Not me. Before I tricked, I felt really emotional. I let down and I cried, but I told Andy, I said, I could just go by myself and just cry. I mean, not just a few tears, but just cry, because it's just sort of hitting me that it feels like it's my last, but I'm just not sure. There's a lot of moments that are really special here. I mean, just not from being an overall champion, but just from being here. I mean, skiing back in '77 when Mike Hazelwood was skiing, some of the Cindy Todd, Linda Giddens, some of the older skiers that I skied with, and to me that are my heroes and that I looked after, are gone, and wondering if I'll be one of those that other skiers in the future will come and think about.
As an ex-overall champion, multiple overall champion, what are a couple of the thoughts that when you come back here hit you?
There's so many thoughts. I mean, it's just not, there's just so many, I couldn't even name them. Just the beauty of the gardens. There's a lot.
Deena Mapple, truly a class act, the queen of her sport. And as good as she is on the water, many will tell you she is an even better person.
She also carries a lot of that passion out on the water, and that always makes her fun to watch, and is a big reason for her success and all the titles, the 20 individual titles here, the 8 overall titles, the 9 jump titles. This is one of the best ever
at the Masters. And there is a look at Bo Callaway, the man that literally built this competition, this site.
Deena right now needs a full point to get by Helena Kjellander, who only got a half now at 35 off. She gets around 1, moves into the lead. Around number 2, looking very well, staying ahead in the race, gets a little slow turn out of 3 and deep and way past number 4. Carrying too much speed into that in this choppy water makes it tough to make a turn.
Yeah, Robin Lake is known for its swirling waters, if you will, and right there, Deena Mapple's not able to hang on, and so she finishes up with 3.5 buoys at 35 off. Here comes Susi Graham, who is the world record holder in women's slalom.
And someone who's had great success here surprisingly goes down early around number 2, breaks at her waist there, brings her down course. And remember, the boat's going at constant speed, doesn't wait for you. She gets in deep around 2, trying to make all the turn after the buoy and was carrying too much speed.
Which leaves the door open for Kristi Overton, skiing the best of her career right now. Recently engaged to be married, she says she wants the money and she wants this Masters title.
Going for back-to-back titles as she gets all the way around number 4. She does on her onside, sails to victory and continues to have a very easy go at short line slalom.
Just before the slalom event started, I was talking with Andy, and Andy said that the water, he laughed. He said, that water is going to be so hard. Is it the case out there?
That is hard? No, actually it didn't feel quite as rolly. I think maybe with that wind coming from the other shore, it didn't feel as rolly. It's a little choppy, but not bad. I just made mistakes and went down, unfortunately.
Deena, how strange does it feel at this point? Normally, all the years in the past, you go, all right, get psyched up, get ready for jump. You're not getting psyched up and getting ready for jump anymore. Did you think about that yet, or is my question the first time that you've thought about it?
No, I've had the opportunity to think about it all weekend, and I have no regrets. What the decision I made was one that I feel very comfortable with, and it was a decision that I made, with the help of my sponsors and my husband and my family, and that's what I chose to do. And I'm just going to sit here and watch the women jump now.
No truth to the rumor then that they're changing the name of the tournament from the Masters to the Mapples?
That'd be nice.
Deena Mapple making no excuses. She does wind up in second place. Kristi Overton has already won the competition and now trying to set a Masters record.
Which is 3 buoys at this pass. She doesn't do it. She's in around number 2. Happy about the victory. She misses her own Masters record, but no difference today. Parker's very happy. Her father looking on.
Absolutely no doubt about your daughter, though. She comes through in a big way at the biggest tournament in the world. How proud of you?
I'm proud of all of them, Dean. I'm proud of her, but all of them Masters, they're all great.
Yeah. And for Kristi now, it makes it what? 2 and 2, 2 slalom titles, 2 trick titles. Yep. Way to go, Kristi.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Did you have the record on your record on your mind there?
I wanted the world record. I felt good today, and I knew it didn't feel that bad, especially from this end, and I wanted to get a good start at 38. I thought I was going to run it yesterday. I got too excited, so it just feels nice.
You put the crowd, into it on that last run. When you pumped your fist in the air, they were excited. When you sat down in the water and thought about it, what were you thinking?
I could just relax and ski now because I thought about it at 4. Should I stop or should I go? And then I was in good shape, so I'm sick of stopping, and I really wanted to ski to my best potential.
Well, do you like those even numbers? 2 and 2, 2 tricks and 2 slalom titles here?
Yeah, I'd like a few more.
You'd like it maybe 4 and 4?
Well, I'm not tricking anymore, but it'd be nice to add some slalom victories to that.
Well, congratulations. Boy, it was wonderful to watch you again here at the most prestigious tournament in the world.
Thank you very much.
That's the smile of a champion, and coming up next, we'll find out who wins on the men's side. Wade Cox welcomes you back to the 35th Masters here in Pine Mountain, Georgia. This is the men's slalom skiing competition. Dan Debenham along with Wayne Grimdich. Wade skiing at 38 off right now.
Boat speed up a couple of miles an hour in the men's competition, 36 miles an hour. Wade's traveling about 25 here and about 60 through the wakes as he's running late for number 6. Barely gets around it and absorbs the slack.
And he is pumped about that, and the crowd acknowledges that feat. And so Wade will come back at us now with an even shorter line length.
Looking to add a little pressure to the rest of the field here. He runs late around number 1 and can't even get to number 2.
The Masters is the tournament. There's no other tournament ever in the world. It doesn't matter how prepared you are, how strong you think you are. When you get out there on Robin Lake in front of this pavilion with all the people, It is a feeling. I'm getting chills right now. You probably can't see them, but it is the most unbelievable feeling in the world to ski in the Masters.
And Lucky Lowe should know. He is the oldest man skiing here today. Lucky Lowe.
I tell you what's chilling about Lucky is his strength. Powerful upper body, great technique. At 36, he can still get it done. Running a little fast and narrow into number 4, however, and he's on the front of the ski and kicks it out.
Lucky Lowe, 3 buoys at 35 off, but I want to know what happened to his sunglasses. He is by far the most stylish skier out here. Let's take a look, slow motion replay. Down he goes. I see the sunglasses.
It was the face plant on the water.
Right there. And here comes Carl Roberge. I like to call this guy the Bear. He's big and strong, and yes, he lists one of his hobbies as weightlifting.
Getting further and further down course. He's going to need some of that weightlifting right now, pulling all the way to number 4 and can't throw his body outside, just running too late.
3 buoys at 38 off for Carl Roberge.
The shortness of the rope here really magnifies the acceleration, deceleration of the buoys. As we watch Jeff Rodgers coming in the course here, they'll swing wide, try to slow the ski down like a race car coming into a turn, and then grab the handle. That marks the acceleration phase, and then slowing back down again, and he gets over too far on his good side. Pretty unusual for Jeff.
Jeff Rodgers, one of the few out here who is not a full-time professional water skier. Not the case for this man, Andy Mapple, who needs this pass and more to win.
Well, this is the moment right now. Andy's coming back at 38 off. He needs this pass in order to have a shot at what Wade's done at 39. What do you think so far? Some guys going down kind of early. And it is a little tricky out there. You got second in slalom yourself. Here's Andy.
Well, I think he can run it, but it's just it's the Masters, so we'll see what happens.
And those 2 words, the Masters, mean so much to these professionals. Andy Mapple tied with Chris LaPointe for the most slalom titles here at Callaway Gardens. Going for an 8th.
Come on, come on.
Your encouragement worked.
There's no words, yeah.
Come on, come on. It was very effective.
Yeah, I think, Wade kind of left the door open at 1, but it's very easy to fall around 1. So right here, the key is going to be determination and have that iron grip on that handle.
39 off for Andy Mapple.
Easy to fall here because the rope falls 2 feet inside the buoy, but Andy, again, aggressive and technically superior.
And he picks up his 8th slalom title. Andy Mapple is now the most proficient slalom skier in the history of the Masters. Originally from England, now living in Orlando, his 3rd home is probably Callaway Gardens.
Well, congratulations, big guy.
Thanks.
Number 8.
Yeah.
I don't know how, you've done about 5 of them in a row, but 8, that is unbelievable in an event where some people say this is the most difficult event to win in because of the competition in slalom.
I'll tell you what, Wade, hats off to Wade and everybody went out there. It was kind of bumpy, and I think, in all honesty, it was better when I came in at 38 than it was when I came in at 32. But, it's just kind of, I think that's the best I've ever skied in my life. Just the way I feel, the way I skied. I can't, I got the records like 3.5, 41, but that ranks higher to me.
Yesterday, I know you weren't totally satisfied with your performance, and saw you kind of tweaking the fin a little bit, making those fine-tuned race car driving adjustments. Did it work, or was it just pure mental aggression today?
No, it did make a difference. My ski felt a lot better today. Yesterday, felt like, it was just kind of sitting a little too deep. Changed a couple of things. That's the beauty. I've been with O'Brien a long time, and I kind of do a little bit different things to make it feel a little different. And today I felt like I kind of loosened my ski up a little bit so I could finish the turn a little better. And I think if I hadn't have done that, I don't think there was any way I could have done what I did today.
Okay, pass on a quick tip to all the juniors out there and all the other aspiring tournament water skiers. What's the key to slalom?
I don't really know. It's a lot of practice, a lot of time. Just time on the water, and sometimes you can overtrain. I think I'm kind of guilty of that sometimes, but it's just, I think the bottom line is you got to want it.
Any special feeling kind of starting to surface now, having won the most slalom titles of anybody here at the Masters?
That's a great feeling. Chris LaPointe had 7, and when I tied Chris, that was a great feeling. Anytime you can tie, a LaPointe and slalom records, those 2 between are the greatest slalom skis in the world. And, to move one ahead, I just think that's, I'm really happy about that, but, I don't rate myself any higher than those guys.
Time to go celebrate. Congratulations.
Thanks, Wayne. Thank you.
From slalom to the battle of the sexes, coming up, it's the Joe Cash Memorial Trophy Challenge. It is a beautiful day here at Callaway Gardens, a perfect day for the 35th Masters, and this is the Joe Cash Memorial Trophy Challenge, or better known as the Battle of the Sexes.
We have the winner of the men's competition, Andy Mapple, going up against Kristi Overton in a handicap contest. Andy's running at 1 line length shorter than Kristi, all for the Joe Cash Trophy. Now, Joe was a great skier here in years past at the Masters, and there's a very classic picture of him throwing up this huge, massive wall of spray. So it's quite appropriate that these two fine slalom skiers challenge each other for the honor.
And for the cash, keep in mind, there is extra cash for this battle, and Kristi Overton's gunning for that right now. She needs one more buoy. Can she get around it? She does, and guess what that means, Wayne?
The women have won.
For the first time ever, a woman has won the challenge, and you don't think her dad's happy? I think he is, and guess who is looking down proudly upon the whole scene? The architect of it all, Bo Callaway.
Callaway Gardens is such a wonderful place. It is unique, and that word's overused. It is such a large garden, and it's a natural garden. We're here at the Sibley Center, which is as cultivated as you get. It's like Longwood, if you're familiar with gardens. But most of our garden, 2,500 acres inside the fence, 14,000 acres altogether, is just open and natural. And in those natural areas, we've planted wild azaleas and dogwood and things. So in the springtime, it's just unbelievable. The rest of the time, it's beautiful anytime you come. Robin Lake was built in the second year of the garden. So Robin Lake was there, and we decided, what do we want to do? It was the world's largest man-made inland beach. It still is. And what happens on a beach? The water comes up and comes back, so there's no wake from it. We figured out a way with some engineers to keep from the other places from water coming back. So we've got a lake just the right size for tournament water skiing. Because if it were any bigger, there'd be more waves. If any smaller, you couldn't get it in. So it's just the right size. So it's an ideal setting and an ideal site. When Dick Pope, who of course was one of the real greats in water skiing, came here and saw this, his eyes got big and said, Bo, this is the ideal place to hold a water ski show or tournament or that sort of thing.
Of course, we all know the Masters of golf, and I had heard that you had an interesting conversation with Bobby Jones himself.
Yeah, well, Bobby Jones was the guy who developed the Masters. He developed Augusta National. He built the golf course. He designed the golf course. And I'm not saying he was thrilled. He didn't say, oh, that's a wonderful idea. But he said, look, we don't have any except for golf, we don't have the name Masters for us. And if you want to use it, I would really ask you to make it a truly prestigious, the tops, because the Masters we wouldn't want everybody calling a Masters of some little tournament that didn't amount to anything. So I said, okay, that's my pledge to you. It'll be the finest tournament in water skiing, and I think we've pretty well done it.
Oh, you certainly have, Bo, and so I think you deserve that seat in the house. What do you think, Wayne?
That was my seat, okay? But I said, Bo, what the heck, I got to work today.
Scotty Ellis polishing down his jumpers, and that means that the jumping competition is coming up. Now, here's a look at what happened in the elimination round earlier. That's Toni Neville, and that was a scary moment for us all. She went out the back, and she laid on her back for quite some time.
Well, yesterday I was just too late onto the jump, and all of us have had out the backs before in our career, but I guess I just hit in a bad way, and my chin came down and chipped my sternum bone, and I guess in doing so, to get that flexibility, I've pulled all the ligaments in the back of my neck, and I guess it'll just take a little bit of time. But I mean, other than feeling a bit sore and sorry for myself, I'm pretty much all right.
Ron Scarpa, while not part of the official Masters, he certainly is part of the fun. And this is how you barefoot. Coming up next, when the 35th Masters continues, the women hit the ramp and fly high. It's the Masters, and it's Emma Shears, and it's the jumping competition. Here comes the woman from the land down under, and she is out and over the water.
Terrific second jump for Emma. Great adjustment, 142 feet as Sherri Slone gets ready to attack the ramp, and that's just what you need to do in jumping. It's about speed to the base, kick off the end, elevation, but not quite the speed as she had on her second jump.
No, in fact, that will only be 1:38 as you take a look, lacking the spring and I think lacking the distance. However, 1:42 is a terrific jump for Emma Shears.
It really is. It sets the mark for the rest of the field out there. She's jumped over 150 early in the year in Australia, and here is one of her chief opponents.
Sherri Slone, her first jump.
And not the lively leg action we usually see from Sherri Slone. She's usually very quick and dynamic off the end of the ramp. We saw Emma relying more on the speed to the ramp. Those are the two elements, speed and spring. Each skier emphasizes either one depending on their style. Sherri is usually aggressive at the base and really kicks it. And there, off the mark, her skis sliding out from underneath her.
Yeah, disappointing 1:22. She passes on her third jump, and so that will bring up on the ramp Rhoni Barton. She is the future of this sport in many folks' eyes. Sherri Slone, in the meantime, I think throwing the helmet means she's a little bit disappointed. Here comes Rhoni Barton. Remember, just a senior in high school, launching herself over that ramp, and wow, she just continues to dominate the overall title race here at the Masters.
Looking a little bit tentative out on the water. The water is a little bumpy here at the Masters, and you have to be concerned about that by keeping your skis on edge, being aggressive, pulling the skis together, your arms into the base of the ramp, a little late with the spring, and once again, kind of a gradual straightening of the legs, although that's her best distance of the day.
132 feet. That just puts a cap, a lid, and hermetically seals the Masters overall title for Rhoni Barton.
Bear in mind, she's just 17 years of age. What a tremendous future ahead of her. She's got a great foundation to build upon in years to come.
Rhoni, you come in here, just your second year, and you're already wowing the crowd, and in many ways have become a crowd favorite. How does that strike you?
It's a pretty amazing feeling, I guess. I didn't expect it, that's for sure. I just came here, wanted to ski my best for me, and turns out that it's pretty good compared to what everyone's doing too.
How does it feel when you think of the names that you continue to follow up behind? When you think of, for instance, Deena Mapple?
Well, since I was a little girl, Deena's been my favorite. She's from California, where I'm from, and my dad had lots to talk to, or lots to say about her, lots of good things, and she's always been somewhat of my hero. And to come here and ski against her last year was the neatest thing I could ever do. And now that she's retired, I still look up to her, and to accomplish what she's accomplished would be a great honor. And to be the person that she's known as too, because it's not just her skiing ability.
True. There have been problems out there on the jump for a lot of the jumpers already. What seems to be happening out there?
It just feels a little rolly today. I think there's a lot of pressure. The tournament's winding down. Sunday afternoon, everyone's tired. They've been out here 3 long days, and you get pumped up, and then you go out there and you're a little tired, and sometimes it's hard to get the body and the mind to act together, and I think that's what happened to me out there. I just couldn't quite get everything together.
Now, to put this in perspective for our viewers, let's just keep this one thing in mind. Have you even graduated yet?
No, that's one thing my mom told me on Friday when I called her and told her how I was skiing. She said, okay, please be safe, jump good, because you graduate this Friday. So I fly home to California tomorrow and I graduate on Friday.
And keep in mind, that's not college, that's high school.
High school, yeah.
Well, good luck to you. You've got a great graduation present going here, and it's good to see you, Rhoni Barton.
Thank you very much.
Oh, just in high school and already won a Masters overall title. Well, the title for the women's jumping competition is still up for grabs, and Britta Grebe would certainly like to grab it out of the air.
Here's someone who has had a couple of personal bests on the Masters course, 143 being her best ever. She's comfortable with the conditions here, but right now she hasn't mastered the conditions.
She has one final jump, one final opportunity.
Gets her left ski down in time, gets a good lift off the end, but wasn't carrying enough speed.
135. And that means that Emma Shears is our winner. Let's go to Emma with Wayne.
Emma Shears, 19 years of age and a Masters champion.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm just like over the moon at the moment. It still hasn't sunk in that I've actually won, but I'm really happy. I've had a lot of help from Conley Skis, Ski One Wetsuits, my coach Ray Stokes, and everything's come together this year, so I'm really pleased.
Well, I think you have to give yourself more credit because you are going to school. You haven't really been training that much. You had a great year winning the Australian Masters with a leap of 154 feet, something like that. You pulled it all together in an extremely difficult situation.
Yeah, well, I've got on the phone to my coach last night and we had a big long talk about it, and I've ran through a lot of things in my mind in the last 24 hours, and I really thought what I had to do out there, and I knew before I went out, and I did it, and I was really happy that I did.
Is the moment sinking in a little bit more? I mean, this is the U.S. Masters. All the great skiers that have ever been have skied here over the course of the last 35 years, and now your name is added to the list.
Yeah, I realize that. It's starting to sink in now, and it's like quite amazing. I'm like, oh my God. But I'm just really pleased that I did what I came here to do, and you know, this is such a great honor to win this tournament, and that's what I came to do, and I'm just pleased to go home with it.
Somehow I think the flight back to Australia is going to be a lot of fun.
I think it might be, yeah. I think it might be some fun. I'm just going to, you know, rest a little, and I've got exams next week, so I'm going home to do them, and we'll see how everything goes.
Don't even open the book on the plane, okay? Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations to the lady from the land down under. And up next, men, which means a little bit further out. The Masters Water Ski Tournament, that's what it says on the back side of the ramp. On the front side, it probably says danger zone because they have pushed the ramp up further, which means that we are now ready for the men's jumping competition. How far up is the ramp, and how fast will our competitors hit the ramp?
Everything is a little more magnified now. We got the ramp up to 6 foot. That's a foot higher, 15-degree angle. It is solid, it's hard. It's a new jump this year, and every one of the skiers love it. Evidenced by 4 jumps in the 200s in the semifinal round. Yeah. So they're going to hit the jump now even faster, 70 miles an hour. And there's one thing you've got to watch in the competitors, their eyes. Yeah. When they're coming off the dock, when they're riding back before the ramp, there is intensity there. This event demands it. If you don't have it, you're going to get hurt.
It's the Masters, and it's men's jumping competition coming up now.
Scot Ellis getting ready to attack the ramp, but in the earlier elimination round, Andrea Allesi breaks the course record and breaks his nose on the next jump.
I went so far forward my third, and I was almost going too far forward, so I tried to recover. As soon as I landed, I went down with my head, and I hit right here.
Broken nose or not, will you be jumping?
Yeah, for sure. Broken nose, I broke a record too. I broke my the European record finally.
He seemed to be breaking everything. Then Sammy Duvall hit the water. He needed to jump over 199 to get into the finals. He lands with a 202.
And so we go to the finals, minus John Swanson, who suffered a terrifying accident this past December.
Well, I got in a car accident over Christmas with my older brother. Crushed my skull, got some plates put in there, a few stitches, and a broken foot. And the doctors said at least 6 to 9 months to let it heal. And right now, I don't know if I'll ever jump again.
Yeah, you're making it sound rather simple. You're putting it in simplified terms for us. And yet it wasn't that. You had a rough time in that accident. You literally have a plate in your head. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. They had to fuse the bones back together with a plate, and it was a lot more serious than that. At first, they weren't sure, you know, how I would come out of it with brain damage and whatnot, but every day that went by, I got a lot better, and I've came out of it as good as I possibly could.
And what is it like for you to sit here and be at the Masters, the world's most prestigious tournament, and have to sit out?
Well, needless to say, I'm still very proud to be invited, and this is my 3rd invite, and you know, that alone in the sport is when you know you've made it, is when you get invited to the Masters 3 times. To be able to not ski, I just try and keep telling myself I'm lucky to be alive, and I can't feel sorry that I can't ski. I'm lucky to be able to stand here and watch. It is tough, but like I said, I'm lucky to be here.
Yeah, well, we're glad you're still with us. You take care and do what's best for John Swanson first, all right?
Thank you.
All of us miss John Swanson. That was a Christmas Eve auto accident, and we wish him good luck. He actually has a metal plate in his head right now. Scotty Ellis has been flying high overhead. Jump number 2, 190 feet.
He won't be satisfied with that. In the elimination round, he went 199. He's not quite finding the right position at the base of the ramp here. They're trying to get their left shoulder down, pull their skis together, and pre-jump. Sort of stand up before the base of the ramp since there's such a tremendous impact hitting it at 70 miles per hour.
Here's the world record holder, Sammy Duvall. This is jump number 1, and he arches and he lifts those legs and pumps his way to a 194. Carl Roberge awaiting his turn out on the water. We'll go back to Sammy Duvall.
And his final attempt to the base of the ramp sticks, a good one. better speed, nice float at the end, and he's happy, a 203-foot jump.
And that puts him in first place right now. Sammy Duvall, of course, is used to winning jumping competitions, but so is this man, Carl Roberge, as well as Bruce Neville, who gives his wife Toni a little kiss for good luck before he goes out on the water. Here comes Carl Roberge coming at you at about 60 or 70 miles an hour.
Getting his legs underneath him, sailing towards the record buoy. An outstanding leap for Roberge. All eyes are on him, and it's going to be a long jump there waiting. 208 feet for the second day in a row. Roberge sets a personal mark. More jumping when we return.
Welcome back to the 35th Masters from Callaway Gardens. This is Carl Roberge's third and final jump. He is leading in the jumping competition right now. That will be a 191, but the jump to beat, his first jump, a 208-footer, and the crowd certainly enjoyed Carl Roberge. This is Bruce Neville, the man from the land down under.
And just missing the right body position at the base of the ramp, obviously distracted by his wife's fall yesterday and also the tailwind. Thankfully, Toni is here today giving him some advice as Andrea Allesi keeps his eye on the conditions and how Neville compensates for the conditions.
This is his second jump, and that looks much better, Wayne Grimdich.
Better speed to the base, got his legs underneath him, and 203 feet, yet 5 feet short of Roberge's 208.
And he was forced to pass on his third jump. Andrea Allesi now trying to outjump the geese on the water. Allesi, keep in mind, broke the Masters record yesterday. Carl Roberge through with his jumping, waiting and wondering if anybody will catch his 208 mark.
His last chance, gets his legs underneath him. Does he have enough speed?
That's going to be close.
To be very close and not enough, 6 feet short.
202 to Roberge's 208, and so Carl the Bear Roberge rumbles home with the victory in the jumping competition here at the Masters. One final look, and a beauty it is, of the winning jump.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the jumping event this afternoon, Carly Roberge.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, she said.
She's got tears of joy for you there. I know she's a little upset. She doesn't quite understand what you did today, but what you did was something I think really special, having seen a lot of your career.
Thanks, Wayne. I tell you, I've been to the Masters every year since 1979. I've never won jumping, but I've been in the finals many times. And it just feels great to win with a personal best. What can you say? It came together when I needed it.
If you look back on all your victories here at the Masters, overall or slalom, is this the best one?
I think so, because jumping's always been my favorite event. I think it'll always will be. It's the most exciting, and it's really thrilling to try and jump far and win. And to do it here at the Masters is I guess, the ultimate.
That's the right word, the ultimate. The ultimate jumping round of the Masters we've ever seen.
And so Carl Roberge joins an illustrious list of individual winners here at the Masters, but we owe a final salute to the overall champions. So the 35th Masters draws to a close. Rhoni Barton is part of the overall championship. Patrice Martin is the other half. Wayne Grimdich, this in the 35-year history has to be among the finest ever performed here on Robin Lake.
Spectacular. I mean, we've said all the superlatives the last 3 years. Somehow in the last 3 years that you and I have been doing the tournament, the levels have jumped up. That has nothing to do whatsoever with Dan and I covering the event. It has to do with skiers like these two people here.
Yeah, Patrice Martin, once again, it is wonderful to see you back here in the winner's circle again. And for you, Rhoni Barton, wow, a youngster with a wonderful high school graduation present. Our congratulations to one and all. It's wonderful to see you here. We look forward to seeing you again next year, as well as you. For Wayne Grimdich, Patrice Martin, and Rhoni Barton, I am Dan Debenham signing off from Robin Lake. We'll see you next time at the Masters. A promotional consideration has been provided by Callaway Gardens Resort. When you want to get away from it all, come to Callaway. This has been a production of CPN Sports in association with ESPN.